Hello everybody, welcome to JAIIB CAIIB English Medium channel. I hope that all of you are doing fine. Today in this particular video, we will be talking about the JAIIB examination and particularly the PPB subject of JAIIB exam. The exam of PPB is scheduled on 8th of November. Effectively, we have approximately 45 days left with us for the PPB exam if we consider separate time for the revision process as well. So when I talk about the PPB, the most important topics you must be aware of in these 45 days, the remaining days, and one of such topic will be the letter of credit. So when I talk about the letter of credit or LC, also known as the documentary credit, there are two or three things which we must know. First of all, the basics, that what is LC, how we are going to have a particular flow via which the LC process will occur. Lastly, you must know the types of LC as well. So today in this particular session, we will be talking about two things. First, the basics of LC or the documentary credit. Along with that, how it works, how the overall process of letter of credit works. So when we talk about the introduction part, so it is also known as the documentary credit. It is a very common instrument used for trade settlements across the globe. So whenever you are having a discussion which is centered around the letter of credit, you must have two, three things in mind. First of all, it is there for the foreign trade. Okay, the trade which is happening with the foreign country or within the two different nations. Secondly, why do we need LC? Because there is a trust deficit, right? There is always a trust deficit between the two parties between which the foreign trade is ongoing. To rectify this particular trust deficit, we enter into the mechanism which is known as letter of credit. The important part here to know is that the third important part to know is that the parties which are involved in the letter of credit, they include the banks as well. So one bank will be there for one party. Let's suppose X party is having its own bank, Y party will be having its own bank. But what exactly happens, that we will be looking into this particular session. A signed or authenticated instrument issued by the buyer's banker embodying an undertaking to pay to the seller a certain amount of money upon presentation of documents evidencing the shipment of goods as specified and compliance of other terms and conditions. So what is going on here? Party X is the seller who has supplied certain goods and services to the party Y, who is a buyer. Now, this seller has already supplied the goods and services to Y, and in return, Y is supposed to make the payment. But as you know, in the trade activities, the payment is seldomly made upfront. It will be made in the upcoming time period, right? In the upcoming time period. And now this particular thing is sorted by using the bills of exchange method, right, where we try to compensate the seller using the bill of this particular transaction. But what if I tell you that there is one more mechanism wherein the seller is apprehensive, that we can understand because money is at stake. But in LC, the buyer is also apprehensive that whether I will receive the goods and services which I have ordered in time or not. And for that only the solution is letter of credit or the documentary credit. So who will be issuing the letter of credit? That thing must come in your mind. It will be issued by the buyer's bank. Okay, so the parties involved will be the banks, as I have just told you, and the buyer's bank will be providing the, or you can say it will be issuing the letter of credit. An undertaking issued by the bank on behalf of the importer. Importer means the buyer, in favor of the exporter that if specified document showing the shipment has taken place, they are presented to the issuing bank or the nominated bank within the stipulated time period, the exporter or the seller will be paid the amount specified. So seller will receive the amount. Now, one thing I want to tell you, I want to highlight in front of all of you, that the parties involved majorly will be five. Okay, these are the major five parties which are involved. But the name, the nomenclature of these parties involved may vary. Like the importer can also be known as the buyer, or for that matter, the applicant under the LC setup. The applicant, why applicant? Because the buyer's bank only will be providing the letter of credit after the buyer has applied for issuing the LC for to its bank. So whether I say importer, buyer, or applicant, all the three mean the same party on whose behalf the LC is opened. So always remember, the applicant will be the importer or the buyer. Then there will be opening or the issuing bank, the banker of this importer, which is residing in the importer's country only, who establishes the LC. Then we have exporter or the seller, who's also known as the beneficiary of the LC, because for this particular entity, for this particular exporter or seller only, this LC has been opened up. The advising bank, confirming bank, and the negotiating bank could be the same. So always remember, whenever we are talking about the different types of bank, the different roles which are being performed by the banks in letter of credit, be it the role of advising bank or the confirming bank or the negotiating bank, it can be performed by different banks also, or it can be performed by the same banks as well. Right? Same bank can perform all the three functions as well. But mostly in the operational aspect, if we see, the advising bank and your confirming bank, they will remain the same. The negotiating bank will be different. Or sometimes we have seen the advising bank and the negotiating bank are the same, but confirming bank differs. Okay. What is confirming bank? What is advising bank? Negotiating bank? We'll be looking into that. So advising bank will be what? It will be acting as an agent of the issuing bank. The issuing bank has done what? It has opened the LC and authenticates the letter of credit, right? So advising bank will do what? It will authenticate whether the LC which has been established by this issuing bank, which is in the importer's country, is authentic or not. So that is the role of the advising bank. When the payment guarantee is taken by the advising bank, it becomes the confirming bank. Okay, that the payment will be guaranteed by the bank or on the behalf of a particular entity, then it will automatically, the advising bank itself will be known as the confirming bank. But if the advising bank is not giving the payment guarantee, then we have to have different confirming bank. So chances are there that supposingly, let's take an example for the issuing bank. Let's suppose it is the DBS bank, right? The foreign bank, DBS bank is there as the issuing bank. And in India, the advising bank, let's suppose, is HDFC. Okay, that HDFC has authenticated that the LC, the terms and conditions which are mentioned in the LC, they are authentic. But HDFC denies to become the, you can say, guarantor, or denies to provide the payment guarantee. Then it won't be treated as the confirming bank. Instead, we have, let's suppose, SBI as the confirming bank here. So different banks are there now. Okay, all are in the exporters country, all are in India supposedly, but they are performing different functions. So confirming bank will do what? Undertakes to pay on behalf of the issuing bank when the exporter is not satisfied with the assurance of issuing bank or the additional guarantee to undertaking of the issuing bank. Okay, so the confirming bank will be ultimately paying off whatever term and conditions are there in the LC. It will be paying on the behalf of this issuing bank. Now, chances are there that DBS bank will be having tie up with SBI in India. Fine. So that is why the payment guarantee will be given by SBI and it will become the confirming bank. Then there is a fourth function which will be performed by the banks. That is the negotiating function. The negotiating bank for the exporters or the seller bank or the bank nominated by the opening bank. Now this bank will be the negotiating bank. Mostly it is nominated by the opening bank only. It negotiates the payment terms and documents in case of specific demand from the exporter. Okay, if only and only the exporter is having some specific demand, then the negotiating bank will come into picture. And mostly we have seen that this negotiating bank will be nominated by the opening or the issuing bank, which is in different country. Then also we have the sixth party, you can say, but in rare scenario we have this reimbursing bank. But yes, cases we have seen where reimbursing bank is also involved, who reimburses the negotiating or confirming bank. Okay, so if there are certain term and conditions applied by the negotiating bank and they require funds for that, for meeting those term and condition, or for that matter the payment guarantee provided by the confirming bank, for that also they require certain funds, so they might need someone to reimburse. So this reimbursing bank will reimburse the negotiating or the confirming bank. Okay, so as I told you already that mostly there are five parties in the LC setup, but if we include the reimbursing bank also, then we have the additional one party and the maximum parties involved will be six. Fine. Now let's see the mechanism. Via mechanism you will come to know more that how exactly the LC is functioning. So first of all, there will be one exporter who will be the supplier of goods, and there will be the other party, that is the importer, who will be demanding the goods, right? Who will be demanding the goods, and ultimately the importer will be paying certain amount to the exporter. Okay, so we have the buyer or the importer here who will be paying to the seller or the exporter, right? Supplier or seller, whatever you want to call it. Fine, these are the two parties. First step, they will be agreeing on a contract. First of all, one contract will be signed between them, describing the term and conditions, that yes, I will be supplying. The exporter will say, I will supply certain goods to you related to, let's say, textile industry, uh, and the importer in return will provide, let's suppose, US dollar 20 billion, just for the example we are saying, right? So this is what the term and condition will be. It will look like this: what goods and services will be provided, what payment will be made, how many times you have to remind a particular party for making the payment, then how many days will be taken by the party to settle the payment. All these things will be there. What is the quality of the material which is provided by the supplier? Fine, such things will be there in the contract and it will be agreed upon both the parties. Right, first thing, it will be one of the agreement under a contract. Now the letter of credit will come into picture afterwards. The second step will be this importer who will be paying certain amount is apprehensive. Fine, there is trust deficit, as I have already told you. Now, thanks to that trust deficit, what will happen? The importer will think that I will be providing the sum of US dollar 20 billion to the exporter, but what about the quality of the goods which I have ordered? For that, it will approach the issuing bank for the LC, and the LC setup will start from the second step after the contract has been entered. So importer will come to the issuing bank, which is also known as the opening bank, for applying the LC. The issuing bank on behalf of the importer will issue the letter of credit and it will forward it to the advising bank. Okay? Advising bank or the confirming bank or the negotiating bank, they can be the same, but they are where they are situated in the exporter's country. Only the issuing bank is there in the importer's country. Now the LC has been issued to the advising bank, and this bank will verify the LC, authenticate the LC, and forward it to the exporter. Once the exporter feels that yes, the term and conditions which we have agreed upon in the step 1, they have been mentioned in this LC, and whatever negotiation is ongoing from the part of exporter will be added in that particular LC, and the goods will be shipped in the 5th stage. Okay, goods will be shipped. That particular, you can say, uh, cargo will leave the country of the exporter and move towards the importer with the exact shipment. Now, in the 6th step, as soon as the goods are shipped, the documents will be provided by the exporter that yes, these are the documents, these are the laden bills of the particular shipment which is moving towards your country. And these documents will be provided not directly to the importer, but because we are in the letter of credit process, so the exporter will provide these documents to its advising bank, which will further forward it to the issuing bank in the 7th stage. The 7th step, issuing bank will receive it, the documents, and after verifying will send it in the 8th step to the importer. And that's how the entire process of letter of credit will end. Okay, it will get completed, and finally the particular goods or the services will be supplied in compliance with the term and condition to the importer, and the payment will also be made in future. Okay, so this was it for your letter of credit, the basics, right? Basics plus the flow, how the parties involved function. In the next class we will be looking into the types of letter of credit, right? Types of LC, which is again important for our PPB exam. In the meantime, let's try to solve the questions based on the flow chart. When does the importer apply for the letter of credit in LC process? So the importer is applying for the LC process when? Before shipment of good, after shipment of good, after receiving the documents from the exporter, or after contract is completed fully. So the correct answer, everybody, I want everybody to answer this question. The correct answer is option A, fine, before the shipment of goods. So before shipment, you will find that the particular importer will apply for the letter of credit. After applying for the letter of credit, you will have the shipment of goods done. Which bank issues the letter of credit on behalf of the importer? So which type of bank is issuing the letter of credit on behalf of the importer or the buyer? Okay. So the correct answer will be what? Advising bank, issuing bank, confirming bank, or the central bank. So always remember option B is the right answer. That is issuing or the opening bank will provide the letter of credit or issue the letter of credit or open the letter of credit process for the importer. Advising bank's role in LC process is to do what? Advising bank, right? Authenticating something, fine. We have studied just now. Provide credit to the importer, verify LC and forward it to the exporter, ship the goods on behalf of the exporter, or collect payment from the importer directly. So the basic role of advising bank will be to verify the letter of credit and forward it to the exporter. So B is the right answer here. Then what does the exporter provide to the advising bank after shipping the goods? The exporter, that is the seller, will be providing something to the advising bank after they have shipped the goods. What type of, you can say, uh, thing is provided by the advising bank, right? So to the advising bank by the exporter, whether it is the complete payment, insurance, shipping documents, or the import license. So always remember, once the exporter has shipped the documents, the shipment is in transit towards the importer, then it will provide the documents to the advising bank. So shipping documents will be the right answer, option C. Who verifies and forwards the documents to the importer's bank? Importer's bank. So importer's bank will be what? The importer's bank will be what? The one which is opening the LC, right? Which has opened the LC on behalf of the importer. Okay, so that the name of that bank is again advising bank. Like that also, you should be able to answer this question. The final step in the LC process is when the goods are shipped, importer verifies and make the payment, advising bank confirms the shipment, or exporter signs the sales contract. So always remember the final stage will be when importer verifies and makes the payment. Okay, so that will be the right answer, answer B. Okay, so this was it for today's class. If you want the PDF of this session, you can directly scan this QR and you will be redirected to the virtual library from where you can have the entire PDF for free. Okay, if you want to have one dedicated course, you want to enroll in the dedicated course for your JAB November 2025, you can contact us on the number which is flashing right now in on your screens, and alternately the number which is mentioned in the description box also. From there you can directly contact the team of experts and they will guide you in a better manner that how you will be able to crack this exam if you enroll in XYZ course. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow.